Meow.
Oh my god, we need to go. We're gonna miss the train.
We need to run.
Assalamu alaikum. Welcome back to the Little Ramadan podcast. I'm Zaina.
I'm Zainab.
And today is the fourth and final episode of our series for this Ramadan anyway, until next year, inshallah. And we have saved the best till last.
We have.
For sure. We've got a really brilliant book that we're going to be talking about in this episode. But before we get on to that, a little bit about our fundraiser.
So we are fundraising with Muslims around the world for aid for Gaza, including hot meal, shelter, water. So thank you to everyone who has donated already. We've exceeded our current, our target from before, and we reached over £500. I can't remember the exact number right now. I think it was 542.
I think so, something like that.
Something like that. But we've now informally raised our target to £650. So inshallah, we can get to that target before the end of Ramadan.
Inshallah, yes. So please do donate in the link below and share it around, inshallah. Okay, so fourth and final episode is book of my choice. Well, actually, it was kind of both of us. And it is none other than Layyan Kasani, A Beautiful Homecoming. How could we not include this book? I only got it recently though, so I'm not that far into it. That's not my bookmark, actually. I'm not that far into it. I think I've only read like the first part of it. Yeah, part 1. And a little bit of part 2. And there is 3 parts altogether. So I'm going to go mainly talk about the first part of it. And just a few reflections I've had from it so far. And even though it's been only one part, there's been so many reflections, mashallah. It's a really good book. It's a book about the deeply personal journey of self-discovery, learning, and ultimately homecoming. So it's like this idea of coming home to yourself, basically, and how to do that. Layyan Kasani herself is a transformation coach, and she uses her own personal experiences and her faith in the work that she does. If you don't already, please do follow her because she's amazing.
Please do follow her, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, it's a self-help book for women who wish to reconnect with themselves, but the points that I've picked out are kind of, I feel like they're more, like mostly universal anyway. So they can apply to anyone. And I'd like to start off with the question, Zainab, if you died today, what would your family and friends have to say about you?
They'd say she's so... Well,
she's so cool.
The first thing they'd say is, oh, it's so quiet.
Really?
Because apparently I make so much noise in the house.
That's very beautiful.
I think it's my wheelchair sound.
No,
not gonna lie.
It's you.
It's me. It is me. I'm quite loud. Yeah, it's quite loud. It's really quiet. She's so... I would assume they describe me as kind, warm, loving, caring, a bit dramatic, emotional.
I don't think so, but I agree with it.
Tea lover. They'll probably miss having tea with me. Yeah, cat lover. Yeah, that's one.
For me, I'm hopefully thinking that they'll say I'm loving and mostly patient. I've been described as having a solid character. I'm not sure what exactly that means.
Who said that?
Like just teachers growing up and my parents as well. And a few of my friends, they've called me quite constant, like quite unfazed. But I think mostly they'd say that I'm always late to everything. I'm chronically late, guys, to everything. And maybe they might say that I'm occasionally passive aggressive as well, lazy, a few other things among that. But the point that I was trying to make is, well, this is how Layyan opens her book. And it's a point of reflection that we don't usually think about, but we should. And it kind of reminded me of how we only remember how people make us feel. And that's kind of the most important part is how do we conduct ourselves. I mean, it's a really important part of Islam. Like, character is half of the deen, isn't it? They said something like that, yeah. I feel like the same can be applied to ourselves. How do we make ourselves feel when we speak to ourselves?
That's very deep.
Yeah, because we always think, oh, how will, you know, our family and friends remember us? But how do we make up, like, how do we perceive ourselves? Yeah.
Oh, we said it at the same time.
Snap. So I think this is an important question for us to ask, because this will reflect on how we treat others and how much others are capable of loving us. Because how can they even love us if we struggle to even love ourselves? So it's
about pouring into yourself before you pour into anything else.
Yeah, exactly. And this kind of relates to our previous episode that we just filmed. Verily, Allah will not change the condition of a people until they change what is in themselves. So it's this idea of looking within and doing the inner work first before we can think about how we are with other people. And in fact, when we do the inner work on ourselves, that's how we become a better person for our loved ones. We become a better daughter, we become a better sister, a better friend. For those of you who are mothers, a better mother. And I feel like that's quite important for all of us. But mostly we become better believers as well. So absolutely. I think it's a really important reflection to do.
And I think, like, another thing to add is when you work on yourself, and it kind of becomes a bit visible as well, like people can see it. Do you know what I mean? You know when they say you've got the noor on your face, or like your vibe, or just being around the person feels good. Like, I think it manifests in different ways.
Oh yeah,
as well.
Definitely. It's definitely energy based. It's absolutely to do with the energy around yourself. So if you have done that work on yourself and you're feeling more confident, it will show. Yeah. People will pick up in it, and we say like, oh, the vibes of that person were great, or like, I'm vibing well,
uplifted.
It quite like physically is a vibe. Like, you literally give off energy.
It is energetic. And like, people, have you heard of vibrations? Yeah, it is your vibrational level.
You have a certain frequency, a personalized frequency that you give off, and if it's energetic and confident and like uplifting and enthusiastic, people receive that and they feel it, and it can inspire them, and they can bounce back that energy, or they can just be all consuming and take it from you. Depends on the kind of person you're talking to.
Can I add something? Does the affirmations fit in this?
Yeah.
Because I have my locks. You probably saw my lock screen when I left my phone with you. It's very weird, but I have affirmations on my lock screen as well.
My mind is worth millions. I don't work for money. Money works for me. Oh, I like that one. I am always at the right place at the right time. The right eyes are always on me. I get paid to exist, yeah.
I feel like affirmations make you feel good about yourself. They raise your frequency. They're a bit delusional, but I think anything to keep you in a positive mindset is good, because it's so easy to think negatively.
Definitely. I think that's something that Layinka actually points out, is affirmations, at some point in the book as well. I don't think I've put it on my notes, but...
And I'd love to know, like, psychologists also, what happens psychologically with the brain when you say affirmations.
Well, I actually do come on to that later on.
Oh, okay. Notes, so... I'm going to hang fire.
Yeah, we'll get onto that. Hang on to that thought, though. I want to talk about defining your homecoming first. So that's the first part of the book, is defining your homecoming. And what we mean by that is personalizing what coming home to yourself means. So how do you treat yourself, essentially? When you're facing yourself, when you're with yourself, do you feel at home? And if you don't feel at home, if you don't like spending time with yourself, or if there's like discomfort when you're left to your own devices, why is that? Why don't you feel comfortable and at home with yourself? I'll go first. For me, because basically throughout this book, she also has like sections where there's like different exercises for you to do. And one of the first ones is defining what homecoming means to you personally. So the one that I resonated the most with of what she mentioned is giving myself permission to turn to Allah. That was a big one to me. I don't know, for some reason, I just don't let myself speak to Allah. Like, I get overwhelmed at the fact that He is actually listening. I feel so insignificant. Like, what do I have to say? Like, are my problems really that deep? I don't deserve it, kind of thing. And it's all waswas. It's all in my head. And I just don't give myself that permission. So coming home to me would mean giving myself that permission. But she also gave other examples of like believing in yourself,
That's one that
loving yourself, giving yourself time, or investing in yourself, that kind of thing. Oh yeah, and then I just put a little note to myself to remind myself that I am enough and that I do deserve Allah's love, and that Allah made us perfectly imperfect, the way He intended, and that He wants you to turn to Him no matter what. And that's why tests exist.
And that in itself is like an affirmation, isn't it?
Yeah, pretty much. So
you are enough, say enough.
So are you. So what does homecoming mean to you?
I think it's really deep because personally, I never felt like at home with myself for quite a few years. And that comes down to the fact that I never used to accept myself. And I never used to believe in myself. And I never saw myself as worthy because I was disabled. It all came down to that. And I think as I've grown older, I've learned resilience and I've learned to break barriers in a world that isn't made for me, which in turn grew my confidence and my belief in myself. And the belief in myself and acceptance took a while, took a very long time. But it came from obviously my faith, but also family support. So yeah, I think homecoming to me has been a journey. But now that I do feel at home in myself, alhamdulillah. And if people don't like me or my disability, then I don't care. So I think yeah, that's what homecoming is to me, just that acceptance and belief in myself that I am worthy and my disability doesn't define me and it's not an inability. Having faith in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala also was a driving factor as well to coming home to myself.
That's so beautiful. And I completely agree. You are definitely worthy. We are all worthy of Allah's love and mercy. So yeah, mashallah, thank you for that. That's really beautiful. And this kind of leads on to, if you feel like you're not coming home to yourself, then there's work that needs to be done there, just like you did. To feel that confidence, to feel that acceptance, you had to put in the work.
Yeah, no, I did access therapy as well. I forgot to mention that part.
Yeah, you took that action, basically, is what I'm saying. So the next part is to decide to change. It's because, and this is what Layinka kind of explains in the book, is that there's a very big difference between wanting to change and then choosing to change. And choosing to change is an action, whereas wanting is just an emotion.
Absolutely.
So you can always feel the need to change and want to change, but if you don't actually choose change, then no action follows and you're just going to be stuck where you are. So we need to actually choose to change. And when we do that, that's when we redirect where our energy is focused. And what I mean by that is directing our energy within our minds. So, and this is another thing that she explains in the book, is that we give ourselves mind messages. And this is what I was saying, kind of links to what I was talking about in the previous episode about Inside Out 2. If you haven't watched that episode, please do. basically I was just talking about the stream of consciousness and how whatever we think about, that's what appears in our stream of conscious. It's what we give energy to in our mind. So for example, if I'm focused on the fact that I'm starving and all I'm thinking about is food, then that's going to make me feel even more hungry. So whatever is in the messages that you give your mind, whatever you tell yourself, that is what your mind gives energy towards. Does that make sense?
Yeah. You are what you think about.
Yeah. So if you, she explains this so much better in the book, but essentially, if you're always constantly thinking about what you don't want and what you don't want to be, there's no room for growth there, because you're only giving energy towards what you don't want and what you want to avoid. There's no way for you to move forwards from that. Whereas if you choose to change and you redirect that energy and tell your mind what you do want, then that's where your energy is going to go towards. You're going to go towards meeting those wants and those needs.
It just really is profound. It emphasizes the power your brain has, and the way that we speak to ourselves is so important. I didn't realize that for a while, until like maybe a few years ago, and I then chose to put it into action not long ago with the affirmations and things. I think that's what definitely changed the way I think.
Yeah, people just don't think it's real. I don't know what it is. They think
it's silly.
You know, there's some people out there that think psychology isn't a real science and stuff, but it is.
It's like, so real.
Our minds are still physical. Our thoughts still have an effect on us, like chemically. So why is it so wild to think that fixing how we think about ourselves is going to have an impact?
Exactly.
I think it makes sense, to be fair. So, so she gives the advice of redirecting your mind messages to what you want and what you want to see, instead of what you don't want. So instead of saying, oh, I don't want to be lazy, oh, I don't want to be passive aggressive like that, you should instead say, I want to be patient, I want to be productive, I want to be on time to things.
Yeah.
I want to be friendly, I want to be calm and collected and stuff like that. And then that's what your mind will put energy towards. She then goes on to another kind of written exercise at the end of this section, and it's called For What Purpose? So this exercise kind of allows you to get to the root of the why. Because it's one thing to say you want these things for yourself, but you need to really connect to why you want those things for yourself. And until you reach that root cause, you kind of, I don't know, it's like you don't have that focus. So an example is, if I want to say, I want to complete my master's degree, okay, I need to ask myself, for what purpose? And then I'll say, so I can secure a job I am passionate about. Then I have to ask myself again, for what purpose? So I use the intelligence and skills Allah has gifted me with. For what purpose? To please Allah. So you have to keep on asking yourself why, and the root cause should always be to please Allah, or to connect with Allah, or to be closer to Allah, kind of thing. And you'll find through this exercise that all of these wants that you want for yourself, they're not selfish, because they're for Allah. And the example that she gave in her book was that she wants to, I can't remember exactly, I've got it over here, so I can look at myself in the mirror and like what I see. For what purpose? To show up for myself and my family from a place of love. For what purpose? For my love to follow them wherever they are, even if I'm not here. For what purpose? So they can embody love for themselves and show up in the world with love of the one who placed them there in the world. For what purpose? To have the love of Al-Wadud, whose love never dies. So beautiful.
It's beautiful.
So it's like not selfish because it's to do with her being a better mother as well for her kids, as well as being a better believer as well. So, how about you? Do you want to have a go at this exercise? Think of a want that you want.
I want to become a public speaker.
For what purpose?
To inspire and educate and to redefine the way people view disability.
For what purpose?
It
gets you to think.
It gets you to think. I guess similar to you, to use the skills and knowledge and lived experience I have.
For the benefit of others?
Yeah, for the benefit of others, and also to help educate communities and families, and also be a sense of comfort. I'm going through a test that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has blessed me with. So I want to use that to redefine and change the narrative from negative to positive. Inshallah.
But it's definitely an exercise that everyone should have a go at. I encourage you guys to as well, and for you to do that for all of the wants that you want, just to keep going. But there's a small example there. That's kind of like the intro that she gave about kind of setting ourselves up for that homecoming and choosing that change. After that, she then goes on to explain how we can recognize being lost. How do we know that we are lost? Just to summarize it, recognizing you are lost means admitting or to stop denying yourself. Recognizing when you're putting yourself last, when you're putting everyone else's needs in front of your own or at your own needs expense. She reminds us in the book that indeed your own self has rights over you. It's so funny, there's literally a section called Filling the Void, which is what we were talking about before. Feeling disconnected from yourself. And Ms. Shame and Ms. Guilt.
Oh wow, they're really big themes in it that correlate.
There is a lot of overlap between the two books, actually. I mean, they are both self-help books and healing and stuff. But so yeah, it's about recognizing that your own body, your own self has rights over you, and you have a duty to look after yourself. And that basically means when you feel that disconnection from yourself, when you doubt yourself, when you're a people pleaser, when you're, feeling lost, is to admit it and to recognize it, essentially. And then she goes on to say, and I love this phrase, we should have less salt, more sugar. And this is basically a section talking all about self-love, but not the face masks and self-care kind, which is what we're kind of used to seeing when we talk about self-love. Everyone just thinks about taking themselves out on a date and spending time with themselves and spending money on themselves. And obviously that is great and is needed sometimes. But it's also like very surface level sugar. It's very just like we mentioned
on the outside.
Yeah, it's very much like we mentioned in the previous episode of it just being like almost ignoring the root cause and just taking the batteries out of the fire alarm.
Makes sense.
Just kind of quieting the noise just for a bit instead of actually going in and confronting yourself and asking yourself why you even feel the need to look after yourself so much. What are you soothing yourself from? Because if you don't actually sort out the root cause, it's just going to keep on happening, and you're just going to keep on having to look after yourself and take yourself out on dates and, I don't know, do all of this self-care to make yourself momentarily feel better. But feeling better from what? it's like an endless cycle otherwise, if you don't do this kind of inner work. Yeah, so it's about giving yourself more sugar, but the real kind, when you do that confrontation, when you choose that change, and when you choose to change, and when you actually ask yourself, for what purpose are you doing all of this, and taking action.
Wow.
I'm sorry, anything to add? I feel like I'm talking a lot.
No, I just feel like there's so much overlap, and the biggest theme that comes through is addressing the root. It's so important because if you don't address the root, like you said, it's just momentarily a bit of dopamine rush, a bit of happiness, but then you go back to feeling how you usually are. And how can someone address their root cause? What can they do?
So I feel like I haven't gone to that part of the book yet.
I think I've got an answer though.
Oh really?
Therapy.
Yeah, that's
like going to therapy. Like we spoke about in two of our episodes previously, the Yasmin Mujahid one and the second episode, about we've had quite a theme in this Ramadan actually, haven't we? And I think in a nutshell, a lot of it is coming to yourself and facing yourself and addressing the root of what's going on, as opposed to sugarcoating or ignoring or brushing it under the carpet. So yeah.
There was one last section that I wanted to kind of read out, and it's this poem that she wrote in the book.
For it.
So we'll be super quick and do that, but we do need to leave soon because we're going to miss the train. It's actually 8:35.
We probably will miss the train.
Okay, guys, apologies for that. Me and Zainab were late for the train and we had to leave. So I'm just going to quickly finish off my part of the episode here because there was one last section that I didn't get to talk about, so I'll just quickly add this in now if you don't mind. The next section that I wanted to talk about was downgrading femalehood, and she just speaks a lot about kind of the stereotypes and the cultural expectations of women that we've grown up with, and how deeply embedded those stereotypes are into our kind of psyche, to the point where as women we kind of box ourselves in a little bit and we kind of doubt our own abilities simply because we're told that we can't do certain things just because we're women. How many times have you guys heard of, oh, what's the point? You're only going to end up getting married, so why have a career? The kind of idea that, you know, women need to be in the kitchen and just be a housewife and a mother, and that's all they are. That's all they have value for. And this is obviously, of course, not the most general thing. This is specific just to the women out there. And then she includes one of her poems, which is really beautiful. Okay, so it goes like this. I'm a woman, inbuilt with double crosses, coiled chains of my being. I'm female. A bearer of life's burdens and the burden of those burdens. I'm a carrier. With a womb that's meant to bear more than the next generation. I birth and rebirth in my cycle of being bloodless, letting blood, and being free of red stains. I feel stained. With the titles thrown upon me, can I be clean? A whore, chick, and base satisfaction on legs, can I be redeemed? To be held higher than the glances, even when I stood still. So if you guys get the book, of course you will read it. It's a bit long to read out loud, but essentially it's about being a woman and how we should break free from those labels. And I just think that's really important to point out, because there are people out there who have so much potential, but because they have grown up in a world where these stereotypes are cemented into their brains, they don't even think that they can achieve more. And it's just such a shame, because there's so much that we could do if we don't box ourselves into those labels. And I just wanted to mention it because I relate to it quite a lot, being a hijabi Muslim woman. There's a lot of things that I'm like wouldn't do, and I'll just say, oh no, that's not really a place for a Muslim woman. And then sometimes I'll catch myself thinking that and be like, why not? So essentially we need to break free from these labels and step outside of those boxes and break free from those stereotypes and achieve our potential. Yeah. Anyway, back to you, Zaina and Zainab. Essentially, yeah. I know that's not really comprehensive of the whole book. I mean, maybe we'll have to do another section of this. I mean, another episode for this book once I've finished it next year.
Next year,
yeah. Inshallah. Because I feel like I did not do Link justice. But that's literally just a few points from the first part of her book. And my final thought for you guys is just to go deeper. Coming home to yourself means coming home to Allah. It means being a better person, a better son or daughter, a better sister or brother, and a better friend. And it means contentment and flourishing. Do you have anything to add?
I just think it's beautiful. I don't really have anything else to say. I think you've kind of said it all. But yeah, self-love is important, and
the deeper kind.
Yeah.
Inshallah, I pray that we all come home to ourselves, especially this Ramadan, and we make the most of these last blessed nights, inshallah. Don't forget to donate as well. I hope you enjoyed this series this year. But yeah, hopefully, inshallah, we'll do this again next year, inshallah. And yeah, we'll keep an eye out to hopefully we reach our goal of £650 for Muslims around the world project for Gaza. But yeah, thanks so much for listening.
I don't know what to say. Thanks so much for listening.
Thanks so much.